Val, the voice.
Hey, Coach, how you?
Man, wonderful. How was your weekend?
You know what? I had a Stars and Stripes weekend. I really, really had a great time. And so I'm doing what we can. I'm doing what it is to do what we can. That's how that goes. That's how it works. And of course, oh my goodness, I'm trying to enjoy as much summer as possible. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to do that. You trying to do that too?
Well, I had a bad weekend. I had my car stopped on me, stalled out on me in the middle of
What?
downtown. I feeling that. I was feeling that LL Cool J car drive by in the booming systems. It wasn't me,
Oh
but
my
hey,
goodness.
but I'm okay. God protected me, looked over me, took care of me, got me towed, got me repaired, and I'm back out rolling.
Hey, hey, hey. And I'm telling you, that's the way we do it here. And of course, Mr. Springer is already in the
Okay,
building. We
what's up, baby?
appreciate that. And of course, Bella's already in the building, which is always
Bella,
great.
baby, my girl, Bella, baby.
But
Yes.
we're gonna get started. It is Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays, and we're about to go right now. It's another edition of Interludes Extra presents Talk on Tuesdays, and we're here. We're doing our thing. We're doing our thing, and of course, one of our affiliate sponsors, Key Spot, connect, share, and grow. That it is for our businesses, our small businesses, and of course, if you'd like to know a little bit more about Key Spot, let us know. Thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for placing that in the chat. And of course, oh, good gracious, a DJ saved my life. Yes, it did. It
Last
saved
night.
my life when I had me some vinyl.
Last night, a DJ saved my life, baby.
Some vinyl.
Man,
Oh my goodness. Go ahead and get your copy of A DJ Saved My Life from purelighthouse.media.net. If you haven't picked up a copy, please do so. And like I said, you can scan there to get your ebook copy. And of course, we are definitely going to be going and doing our thing with that, of course. And then Patreon. We've been working on the page, and like I said, it's coming along real good. Patreon.com/interludes. We're doing our thing, and of course, you want to find your voice, please go ahead and go over and check it out. Check it out. Coach, it's so good to see you.
man, I'm sitting there checking in, Val. I see my baby out here. I am location. What?
Yes.
And then my main man, Wise. Hey, Wise, you always know we're going to bring the fire, man. You already know. We're going to keep the fire. And by the way, Wise, while I'm on my current break, get at me because I definitely want to do the Wise show, man. I've been following you guys. I've been listening to you on a daily basis, man. And I love the show. I think it's fire. But I think that I'll be able to come on and get at Coach Tony Twist. So get at me, man. I want to be on the show, baby.
Oh my gosh. And of course, Mr. Springer is saying, "What up, Coach T?" And of course, from the Empowered Podcasting Conference that I did back in June, it's leader Mark Ronick. Good to see you,
Yeah.
Mark. Hey.
Mark, hello, buddy. Welcome aboard on here with Coach Tony and my girl Val. Interludes, talk on Tuesdays.
Oh my gosh. So we wanted to let you know that August is National Black Business Month. And of course, over the weekend, I got a chance to support some Black business because this young lady visited me in Chicago. Her name is Renee Jackson Bradford from Ohio by way of North Carolina.
Come on, pal. You got to finish that sentence when I say that. Come on. O-H.
O-H.
Oh, there you go. I go to Ohio too much, though. I'm glad. That's nice.
Yeah, Renee is studying for her doctorate. She's here for a conference, which is really wonderful here in the Chicagoland area. And of course, we got a chance to go to a soul vegan restaurant on the south side of Chicago called Soul Veg City, right on
Oh, wait.
75th in Indiana, man, on 75th in
Oh,
Indiana,
right,
right in Chatham, man.
right there by the Kimpo. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call Uncle Leon and tell him they got some competition down the street because you know what we doing there. You know, we're 75th and Prairie. Gotta get up off the block.
Exactly. So we call her Pastor Renee on the lemonade stand under the House of Creativity on Clubhouse.
Okay,
And so it's
I like that.
always good to be able to, I'm telling you, I've met some phenomenal people via Clubhouse, and I'm just
Yeah.
grateful for this relationship. This is a good relationship, Coach Tony. She's good people.
Okay. Well, you know, your good people is my good people, so that means we good.
Of course, of course. And you know what? We don't want to get in trouble with Peacock or Universal, but we wanted to talk about the preview of the Bel Air, which is coming back to Peacock on this coming Thursday, August 15th. Now I was a little nervous. I didn't know if the show was going to come back. What about you, Coach? I was a little nervous because of Will. We didn't know.
Well, the first thing I say is this, Val, they made it to season 3. You know what I mean? Because I'm like you. When I saw this thing the first time, I even talked to a couple of guys I play golf with and just hang out. They're like, man, what are they doing? This ain't even like a Will Smith type story. But like anything, you know what we do, black folks, we jump on something, start watching it, and all of a sudden the numbers go through the roof because we're expecting change, but then we keep watching, and all of a sudden we hooked.
Exactly. And let's give you guys a little bit of a reminder, the backstory on this version, this reimagining of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was a popular show in the 90s on
Right.
NBC. Kansas City native Morgan Cooper reimagined this in a dramatic version of, and he called it Bel Air, and he posted it on YouTube back in 2019, 5 years ago, and it generated so much. Okay, what is this? It caught the attention of course, executive producer Will Smith, and of course, they decided let's go ahead and make it into a series. And of course, it got sold
Right.
to Peacock, Universal, and that's NBC. And then it's a beautiful thing. So a lot of folks are coming back. This is to me such an attractive cast. Instead of being during the school year this time in season 3, it's going to be more of they are in, I like to call it the summertime. And Will Smith, when I saw a couple of viral TikTok videos and YouTube shorts that came out, and Will Smith performed his 1992 classic Summertime. And
Summertime.
There you go, it's summertime. So he performed that in celebration of the new season, of course. And here it's shown here who plays Aunt Viv is Cassandra Freeman, who I think is killing it, reminding me of Janet Hubert, who originated that role back in the 90s. Right. And of course, her husband here. I'm telling you, man, it's a beautiful thing. And then, of course, they've changed some of the roles, but the most wonderful thing that's happening, you recognize this gentleman right here. There's always someone from the original cast that comes on Bel Air, and this time it is Jeffrey, known as Joseph Marcel. He will be making an appearance during.
What's up, Mr. Will?
He'll be making an appearance during the 3rd season. What do you think about that, Coach?
You know, it's funny because, you know, Val, back in the day, you know, I'm dating myself, but back in the day, we was always comparing Jeffrey to Benson, which one had the best job, the best situation, you know, and that may be a poll tonight that if you are a Benson fan or a Bel Air fan with Will Smith, then was Benson or Jeffrey, which one do you like the best? And I was a Jeffrey fan. Here's the reason why. Because he was a smart ass and he lived with 2 comical kids in Will and Carlton, right? And And when Jazzy jumped in, it was crazy. But I like him because he had his own flair, had his own room. You remember a couple
Right.
episodes, he had a couple of honeys he was trying to date, trying to get out on. So yeah, I like
Yeah. Yeah, so I think this is going to be very interesting to see how they bring him back in, and of course, who's making another appearance on Bel Air this time around is one of the Waynan
yes,
brothers. I
yes.
think he did a great job in portraying um, uh, Will's father in this reimagining of Bel Air, and so of course, Coco Jones that you see here
Yeah.
with
Girl,
younger version.
Coco.
I yeah, Coco Jones and Akri Akbar. That is the young Ashley that's here. They are playing Hillary and Ashley, and
Yes.
Coco has been making a big splash as a singer. She's been a soul singer, been awarded
Right.
at the BET Awards and a few other places. I think she was nominated for a Grammy earlier this year for some of her music, and so she
And
is really
you know the
done her
song about spread my wings and fly away. She's doing just that. You know what I'm saying?
And in this reimagining of Bel Air, the Hillary character is a culinary influencer. So that's what's happening in this role. Because I think what did they have Hillary as? And that was Karen Parsons back in the day. I think she became a weather girl. Wasn't that one of the roles
Yep.
she had? Yeah.
Besides being an airhead, yes.
Well, this Hillary Coco Jones reimagining of Hillary is not an airhead at all. That is not what's happening with that. But of
And when I
course,
say airhead, don't let me get it wrong. She was a smart nerd that didn't
mm,
have any street sense, and cousin Will kind of knew it. He kind of played on it. Where Ashley kind of was the baby of the family, so she kind of was able to sit back and look. She knew how to play Will and Carlton, and she knew how to play older sister, and she definitely knew how to play mom and daddy. So I love that because she had that role. She had that baby role.
exactly. That's what's really, really, really exciting about it all. But man, oh man, I'm excited. And of course, this brand new season gets kicked off this coming Thursday, August 15th on Peacock.
Yes.
This might be a great time to renew your subscription to Peacock just to see
Yeah,
this
ain't got nothing
series.
going on about the Olympics just stopped. The NBA ain't got the only thing you got is WNBA come back, so you might well watch it. And my show, I just crushed All American, so I know we ain't got that on the subject, but hey, if you haven't seen All American, the new season 6, you must watch that. It is the bomb.
I know. And of course, now, speaking about the Olympics, and of course, Snoop Dogg doing his thing at the Olympics. We'll get to that
No,
just a little bit. He's getting into movie producing now. Did you know that?
man, I already, hey, if you ain't heard, you better ask somebody.
Oh my gosh. So this is what I'm telling you, man. This is
And,
something really.
that's around your year, about 92.
Yeah, I was a junior. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a junior or about to be a senior in
yeah, you
1992.
you was cutting up right about now.
We want to ask the audience, what do you all remember about the year 1992? Literally, we know some of our audience is.
And we're not even gonna tell. We're gonna hold out the
Hold out.
92. I want to see some answers before I tell you what happened, because if you don't understand the pivotal year in 92, which is actually the reason that this movie was based off of, or the series is based off of, then you better go back in the books. You better do some homework. What? What?
I know, and like I said, it is a very the year of 1992 is very, very pivotal, and of
Yes.
course, a fictitious thing happens around a very real event that happened. Now, of course, if you're thinking O.J. Simpson, that was 2 years later. That we
Correct.
weren't
Right.
quite there yet. It was
Wrong
2 years later. Right. Now, if you were thinking the 1992 Olympics, because
There
it
you
was
go.
90.
That would have been a nice thought, but strike number 2.
So we have the question in the chat. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Springer. What do you remember about the year 1992? Just curious to know what you guys thought. You could put it in the chat and let us know. But of course, the Summer Olympics, we're not talking about the Summer Olympics of 1992. I think Carl Lewis probably made another appearance. I forgot what it was
called
in.
Michael Johnson, baby. Michael Johnson, my boy.
Right. I think they had the Dream Team.
Dream Team.
The original Dream Team.
With some of these young cats, not even going to the Pull-Up podcast. So I just argued with these young dudes today, talking about this Olympic team that just won could have beat the Dream Team. Are you smoking and drinking at the same time?
Oh my gosh. Hopefully they are not drinking at the same time. That would not be smart.
By the way, that's next Monday's show with the fan. That's the fan appreciation night. So make sure y'all tune in to the Pull Up Podcast show next Monday night, 8 p.m. with Coach Tony and the fan. And Mark better be on time, and Eric Harrison better be on time. We're going to get it in.
Of course we are. Well, of course, Snoop Dogg has produced this film. It's called 1992. And some of the stars in it is
Coca-Cola Gibson.
Yeah, we got Tyrese Gibson. We have Scott Eastwood. We have Jocelyn Motomala. That's an African name, and of course, Ray Liotta,
who always play a prejudiced ass cop or something crazy. Which I love him for that, because he never changed his role and he always brings it in that role as that particular character, unless you go way back. And I love the movie when he did Casino with my boy, with Patino, he was the gangster, coming out of New York, that he played that role tight.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. And like I said, it is one of the last roles, unfortunately, that Ray Liotta got a chance to play in the, during this particular time. And of course, we really are excited about it. And of course, a story by Sasha Penn and directed by Ariel Roman. I say that this is probably going to be a very exciting film based on the preview that I saw, and it comes from Death Row Pictures. That's what I saw in the preview. Now, yeah, go ahead. What you got?
I'm just saying, Val, I don't know about you, but this brother came through the 90s, been smoking weed for 30, and still smoking weed today. Best friend is not another brother. His best friend is a white woman named Martha Stewart. And then he ended up across the pond making 500 stacks a day, and then drop a movie about 1992, which I'm still waiting on you guys to tell me what happened. Come on now, Snoop, I'm loving this. And he's not only the owner of Death Row Records because he bought the label, but now he's got Death Row Productions. Oh, that's ridiculous.
I know, and this is exactly what's happening. And of course, like I said, this is probably one of Ray Liotta's last roles that he got a chance to be in. Looks like he's playing the bad guy, which to me, I feel like he's a master at it. He's a master at playing the bad guy. So of course, Tyrese Gibson is in the film, and of course, he is there to protect his son. He is there to protect his son.
The blue collar guy, Val. So you got to rewind it a little bit. You got to act like these people. Like you got to give the people what they need, what they want. You know what I'm saying? That Tyrese. What I like about him, he's an ex-thug, ex-banker, ex in jail, the whole 9 yards. Before we even get to the scene we're looking at, the whole setup comes out of the store. I love to me, one of the best lines in the movie or in the trailer was, he walks in the store, he's tired, and these two cats trying to rob the liquor store. And they put a gun to his head, and they like, look, man, you seen some of this? And he said, yeah, every day. And my man looked at him, he's like, what? Because he's an OG, he had to teach him. Because sometimes you got to grab the youngsters by the bootstrap, Val, and hang them upside down. You know what I'm saying? We got to do that sometimes.
Why you got to hang them upside down? What is that about?
Because they don't understand until you hang them upside down. When you hang the youngsters upside down, for whatever reason, Val, the blood rushes from their boots to their head, and they get it. So I'm telling you, I'm just saying, for promotional purposes only. If you ever gotta get a youngster to understand, snatch them up by the boots and hang them upside down for about 15 seconds, and I guarantee you, they're gonna talk some sense to you.
Well,
But
it like I said, this looks like it's going to be a really good
yeah,
film and definitely language. So
I
please
got a
don't bring your
question for you,
children to
Val.
see this. No children to this one.
I got a question for you.
What you got?
Looking at the trailer,
Hmm.
what does 1992 kind of remind you of the other LA movies that were big hits? What does this kind of give a good vibe towards?
Um. Okay. Well, I feel like in '92, what was released before '92 was a deep cover. So we got introduced to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. They had did the
Yeah, keep going.
soundtrack.
Keep
They
going.
they
I
did
love
that
that.
one. Also in '92 with the film, but I see Boys in the Hood was '90. That wasn't '92. That was 1990.
Yeah, but
That's when
even
that
even
came
if we gotta come a little further with the movies, I'm just what movie that this kind of movie kind of give you that vibe from though?
Okay, so let's see. So this particular film, 1992, is centering around the LA riots, unfortunately.
Just in
That's
case
the
y'all didn't know, we're gonna give y'all
if
the
you
answers
didn't know.
around LA Rise if you didn't know that.
So that's the real event that's happening in this. But of course,
Correct.
2 million or 10 million catalytic converters are in a warehouse, and they use the robbers that Ray Liotta's over. They
And would they
use
still stealing them today?
Yeah, I know. And they use the cloud of the riots to go
Right,
break in. And unfortunately, Tyrese and his son is a little bit of a hiccup. And so we're going to
right.
see how
Get caught up
that
with
works. Hmm.
it.
But
Exactly. Now,
I
to me,
so here's a guess. LA Confidential. That's
oh,
a guess from
I was looking at the cap. No, I'm thinking more along the lines of Training Day, baby, because you got a situation opposite of the police, dirty police. We know that, and we definitely know that because Denzel was dirty as they came. That what gave him all the awards he got that year for Training Day. And now we
Mhm.
look at the Ray Liotta and these guys, and Ray usually plays a dirty cop, but in this particular movie, he's playing a gangster that's a robber, and they're trying to, like you said, Val, use the riot because everybody's already doing. What is everybody doing every day in LA at this time, Val? They're doing what?
They're going to work.
No, they're looting and robbing.
Oh, you refer. Oh no,
Everybody,
you referring to
everybody
the. Oh, you referring to the riots. I'm so sorry. No,
yeah,
everyone
they are.
is
They
they're
are
looting.
looting and they're rioting. So these bank robbers figure, hey, this is a perfect time to pull off the best heist. Which, for promotional purposes, I get it because if the police is sitting over here now, three things happen during this time. If everybody listen, we're gonna rewind this tape a little bit so that you kind of get a good picture as Springer put it into the tagline. One, we had a situation that a brother and Rodney King caught the beat down that sent the
Hmm.
world into frenzy. And not only did it send the world into frenzy, it sent it into a frenzy in South Central LA. Then you had Reginald Denny, which was an innocent truck driver, unfortunately, got snatched out of his 18 wheeler and damn near beat to death on national TV. And then you had the dirty LA Police Department, who's already doing the things they're doing. So you had this entire mix like like gumbo. You eat some gumbo, Val. You know, you put everything in gumbo. You just kind of
Hmm.
yeah. So you got all that going on in '92, and then out comes all this stuff, and then you on the backside of what you just mentioned a moment ago, Val. You got Ice Cube and these boys in '89, '90, '91 released "F the Police" as an album that goes triple platinum, and they're coming through this entire thing. So the depiction of this movie from 1992 is great because here's one thing I like about it, Val. Snoop was a person that's the executive producer that's not giving you something that I got to go research. He was there and he lived it.
Live
So,
through it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's giving you the lens of the city, the lens of his eye, and then the lens of what was being shown to the American people. And that's what made up 1992. And then on the backside of that, the moment things calm down, here come my homeboy OJ, right? I ain't black, but I'm OJ.
Oh
So
my gosh. But so like I said, so this is, like I said, I'm interested in this film because it's going to be centering around the 1992 LA riots. And so this is, I think, one of the first films out produced from Death Row Pictures. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that. And of course, this gets released in theaters later on this month on August 30th. And so like I said, if you're curious to know what it's about, if you're a fan of Tyrese and what he does, I say go ahead and check it out and give it a whirl. But like I said, I think it's something I'd be interested to see how Snoop did in producing this, and of course how Tyrese, and of course one of the last roles that Ray Liotta starred in, 1992, August 30th, only in theaters.
Man, and we're gonna remind you right before it gets released. We're gonna remind you, so because we want to support Snoop. You know, Snoop doing some good things right now, man. You know, and to have him jump behind them lenses. You know, we already know he can spit on that microphone. So to get on that lens and spit on these lenses, I'm trying to see what that's all about.
We're gonna get a little bit more into that as we get into our Olympic recap. We got a lot to cover, but we'll be back right after this.
Hey, it's your main man, right back at you, coming live here from the Rise Studios, and it's your guy talking about what? Pull Up Podcast Show. What is the Pull Up Podcast Show? It's a brand new podcast hitting your airways nationwide, talking everything on sports, from baseball, basketball, hockey, and then I tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure, if you want your questions answered, you want to have fun talking a lot of sports, make sure you pull up on me, because it's the Pull Up Podcast Show.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up.
Also, for those that want to learn a little bit more about this right here, oh yeah. That right there, that's the Rise, NIL, talking name, image, and likeness. Those having opportunities, getting paid, you want to tune in to it.
Sports show, let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast. So it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Let's go.
Pull up, let's go.
I know. It's all about that. Over the weekend, I forgot to mention this. Myself, I appeared on the Wise going live at 5 on Friday.
Wise keeping live at 5, baby.
I know. So of course we went ahead and checked it on out, and of course that's just like a digital still from the interview. But like I said, this was a really good thing. We were breaking down, getting questions answered about the book, A DJ Saved My Life. And so I personally would just like to thank Wise for having me on his show. And he is going to be kicking off the 9th season of the audio podcast, the Interludes podcast. And of course, we're setting things up in the background right now that it gets streamed, but it's recorded. And the audio will be released on Spotify, Apple Music, and a bunch of other places. So thank you so much, Wise. And we're going to be talking about his book, Where. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, first of all, we're going to flip the show one night so I can interview you on Interludes, right? Because that's what we have to do. We got to put you in the back seat and let me be the driver, Miss Daisy. You know what I'm saying? Drop Miss Daisy in the back. Then Wise got his book, and then I'm working on my man's in there. So we're going to be, that's a trifecta. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand the my man's in them, but we'll just go ahead and just go with it. Now, the Olympics, 11 to 12 days of fun, fury, and everything. And now in Paris, everything is about over. Patty, it was a beautiful thing. I don't know. Did you guys get a chance to watch or see anything that happened over the weekend? Because I have to tell you, thank you. King Y says, thank you, Val. Amazing interview. We appreciate the love.
Yeah.
We appreciate the love. Mm-hmm. But I have to tell you, Coach, this has been a really fantastic. Now, this poor child ran with COVID. I cannot believe he won a bronze and won and went ahead and ended up winning with COVID. And so they talked about him, and he did the 200 meter. He came in with bronze. They went ahead and interviewed him. And then, of course, he got on social media immediately and said, first, I want to thank God for getting me through this Olympics. Second, I want to continue to congratulate Leslie Tobago and Kenny Berdenek and everyone else on an amazing Olympic 200 final. Finally, I want to thank everyone for the supportive messages. I believe this will be the end of my 2024 Olympics. It's not the Olympic I dreamed of, but it has left me with so much joy in my heart. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Whether you were rooting for me or against me, you have to admit you watched, didn't you? See you next time. Yeah, because he had to step out. He couldn't do the relays because he was slated to do the relays, and he couldn't because he suffers with asthma. We found that out when we watched the Netflix documentary Sprint. Right. Remember? Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not gonna be so nice on him, and you're not gonna like my comment. But first of all, my man Joe Fazio, what's up, baby? Of course, Steph Curry did his thing. We're gonna talk about Steph in a minute because most definitely I got a comment. But Noah Lyles was my guy. I told you, Val. And by the way, for those that listened to me 3 weeks ago for promotional purposes only, as Springer put it into the tagline, what did I tell them, Val? I told you the U.S. was going to win about 130 medals. We won 127. What? You better, you better, I keep telling y'all, come to that sports, you better listen to me. But Noah Lyles, Val, if he could have just took his medal, like back in the day, we used in the crib, we used on the neighborhood, and the bully came around, take your ball and go home. You know what I'm saying? If he could just took his medal and went home, he's cool. But the brother not only got on social media, which you didn't mention, but he got on social media blasting the freaking receivers in the NFL, and I didn't like that. And one of the receivers, my boy Tyreek Hill, clapped back. And he said something that to the effect that the NFL receivers are not fast and they're not really playing anything, or they're not really competing against anybody. So Tyreek Hill, my boy, I love Tyreek Hill. Used to be with the Dolphins. He's with the Dolphins, but used to be with Kansas City Chiefs. Just challenged him, Val, to a 100. Told him he want to race him in a 100-yard race, Tyreek Hill and Noah Lyles. And he said, I'm gonna spank him without having to spank him. And when I do, I'm not going to even talk about the Olympic runners. I'm just going to talk about you. So stay tuned to social media. If you ain't up on this story, go Google it tonight. Tyreek Hill, wide receiver in the NFL, and Noah Lyles. They kind of clashing right now, baby.
Oh my God. And I'm sitting up here trying to figure out, why would you say that? Like,
right. He already won. And then the crazy part about it, Val, he takes second in both of his heats because he was sick. Because I wonder what was going on. I saw he didn't look like himself. I personally saw that. But then you take that to the NFL guys. So now you gave somebody like Tyreek Hill, who's the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. And if y'all don't know that, you better put your homework on. Fastest wide receiver in the NFL. And then you go and talk about the wide receivers in the NFL. Come on, man. That ain't even your lane. Leave that alone.
So here's the thing. When you are competing in sports, you really have to watch what you say and how you say it, because you never know what kind of dust you might kick up or some unwanted smoke you don't want. And I don't know how you all feel about it, but like I said, this gentleman he ran with COVID, and I'm grateful they still let him compete, because he ended up getting sick, and they ended up testing positive for COVID 2 days before he won the 200 meter. But I'm just,
when did you recognize that, Val?
I recognized it. I noticed he was wearing a mask
Bingo.
often. Like, and to
And no
me,
one else was wearing one but
no one
him.
else was wearing but him. And
Exactly.
so I was
Including the back with the athletes is that he was wearing a mask. Like I said, what the hell he wearing a mask for? But ain't nobody else got one on.
exactly like right here where this interview, right after he won, he
Yes.
was, wearing an N95 mask. So I'm sitting here going like, what's going on with him? And then the rest of the world found out at that time that he had COVID and had been diagnosed, and the Olympic Committee agreed that he could continue to compete. But when he finished that race, they literally had to put him on a wheelchair and get him out of there because he was breathing so hard. I was sitting there and thinking about his mom. Like, you saw her run out of the stands to get to him.
Yes,
it was
because you got to think you got COVID on top of bronchitis and asthma. Come on,
and
man.
asthma.
My son's got that. So I eliminated him from playing football as much as he wanted to because I couldn't be that guy that my son had an attack and all of a sudden they said, well, damn, coach, you a coach and you let your son play this sport, you knew better. So I couldn't be that guy.
No, and who wants to be that guy? Definitely not me. Definitely not me. Definitely not anyone else. But like I said, congratulations. He walked away with some medals and of course 200 with the bronze, which is really, really good. Of course, the women's relay, they did a wonderful job. I don't know if you saw that race, but Sha'Carri Richardson looked back and kept going. I don't know if anybody caught that. She looked back and she kept going. I was like,
she said the old Mar thing, I'm gonna see it, I'll see you. And that's I see it, I'm gonna see you.
Tyra Davis Woodhull, she was the gold medalist for the long jump. It was just amazing to see her to do that. Because here's the thing, some competitions went immediately. You got medaled immediately, but the races, there were rounds. And if you didn't make it to the last round, you just didn't make it. That's just kind of how it was. And so let me get to this gentleman.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And of course, McLaughlin, she did the women's hurdles. She did a great job as well. Mm-hmm.
Let me break her down. You don't sell her short, right?
I know.
Because that's one of the pieces I wanted to talk about. She not only did the hurdles, she crushed it and beat her own record and whatnot, but she then turns back and jumps on the women's 4x400, right? Right there where you're showing. And if it wasn't for her in the second leg, let me tell you something, Val. She ran the second leg in 47.71, which is about 0.91 seconds faster than than anybody.
Wow.
She then helped the team. They came in with a 3 minutes, 15.27 seconds. They were 1,000th of a second off the world record, even though they got an Olympic record. So these girls was moving. But Sydney, of course, she's married to a football player. So that training, you saw this entire Olympics, everything that she did was a freaking blowout because her husband had her prepared. She was up at those 5 in the morning, 5:30, eating raw eggs and doing them gut-wrenching sit-ups and everything you can think of. This young lady right here, of all people, and I love Sha'Carri and all that stuff, but this young lady, based on the different events that she ran in, she was one of the reasons why the USA came on in track and field. And by the way, Val, something that maybe somebody don't know. Let me ask you a quick question before I give you the answer. Do you know what part of history that the USA track and field made?
Was it the first time they medaled in over 20 years?
No, let's try that. They came home with 34 track and field medals, the most in history ever.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Medals since the Olympic Games started way back in Juvenile.
Wow.
So you gotta look at these young ladies was picking them up and putting them down. And they just completely destroyed everyone that was there, and it was and Snoop, that's hard. and some people may or may not know this, they was paying Snoop 500 stacks a day. Man, I wish I could have got that. 12 days, 500,000 a day.
Wow.
So that's the number people don't know. Snoop was making 500 grand a day for being over in the Olympics, and he had his own designer, and he was coming with them fresh outfits every day. You never seen Snoop in the same thing in the last 12 days. Never.
He had a stylist, someone to help him with the some of the things that he did before the Olympics, and then while he was there, he had 2 stylists along with his publicist there. And of course, they really, really embraced Snoop being there at the Olympics. He said that he thought of it as being kind of I want to call it a mascot, or just kind of the cheerleader, because you look around, he was there at the swimming events. You looked around, he was there at the track and field events. You looked around, he was there at the gymnast event. In fact, he was dancing and making and cheering on Simone Biles and Jordan Childs and the rest of those guys. He's just like,
did you see what he did for Simone Biles' parents?
What did he do for Simone Biles' parents? Lord, what did he do?
He gave them a Death Row necklace.
Wow.
Gave him a gold Death Row necklace. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like you can come back to the United States and go somewhere and buy that. You can't do that. You got that from Snoop. So that was crazy. And Joe Fazio and my guys listening right now. So I'm gonna make the big statement, and I want your comment, because I know you mentioned Steph Curry. So today, Michael Jordan made a comment that even though Steph Curry was as great as he was with the men's Olympic team, because they keep on arguing, I had to shut one of my guys down. I hope Coach Justin listen tonight, and to shut a couple of my guys down who called me. There's nothing. There's no way. 2 things here. One, that this team beats the Dream Team in '92. That doesn't happen. And the second thing I got upset about, Val, is that you got Jason Tatum, who comes off of an NBA ring with the Boston Celtics, co-MVP, and he only got 6 or 7 minutes in the last 2 games of this World Championship. That's beyond me with Steve Kerr. I have no idea what Steve was doing. He should have just left him at home. But the comment I want to know, Fazio, and these guys, is that Michael Jordan made a comment, Val, that as good as Steph Curry is, and he loves him, he's not Hall of Fame ready. And Steph Curry replied tonight. So what do you think about that?
So do you have the reply of what he said?
Yeah,
do
so
you have
Steph stayed respectable, and he said that, he does see that he's got a few more things to do in his career, and he can respect the GOAT, which is Michael, the best of all time, the greatest of all time, and what he has to say. But he said that, I understand I got to pick my defense up, because, sometimes Steph is a little suspect on defense. He going to kill you offensively. He going to give you what he needs, but defensively, need to pick it up. So he said he's got a few things to prove there. But he made a unique comment, and that was he's tired of the old ball players from yesteryear who basically set the foundation for the NBA they play in today, continually talking about how they were back in the day, but disrespecting and not giving respect to the players that's playing in today's world. And I get it. And Dwayne Wade, our own South Side, Chi-Town baby, love him, put it to him very eloquently yesterday or this weekend. And Dwayne Wade said verbatim, there's no one who could have touched the 92 Dream Team. And we got that. We get that. It was too many GOATs on the team. We get it. Let's lay that out there. But what Dwayne Wade said is that the problem is we continue to focus on the Dream Team, but we don't remember, or we don't look at the scenario that surrounds everything. Back in the early 90, 91, 92, there was only a few European ball players, Val, that was here in the U.S. that was playing basketball, right? We had a couple of those with Vlade Divac and Sabonis and Marcelonis and those guys like that were playing over here. Drazen Petrovic, who ended up passing away. But now 40% of the NBA, 40, Val, 40. There's
What?
only 32 teams, and 40%, that's 62 jobs a year, or 60 jobs a year that go to the NBA. 60. And of those 60, 40% of those jobs have gone to the Europeans the last 5 years, which means that these kids are coming over here to go to college, and we're training them up, and they're being NBA prospects, and then they're coming back and they're trying to compete. Now, those guys right there, you're looking at it, Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, and Jordan. There's no one going to put them 5 rings on like that. We know that. But now what's happening, Val, is the kid that me and you talked about, Victor Wembanyama last year, the #1 draft pick. Where is he from?
Exactly.
France.
Yeah, he's from
Rudy
France.
Gobert
Yeah.
from France. You know, they got these other guys in Germany. You know, they playing. And when the Olympics come up, then all of a sudden these guys go back home and now they're competing against the U.S. So that's the big difference. That's the big difference.
And it definitely is. And so this was from Barack Obama's Twitter. I actually was checking him out, and he actually had the entire current basketball USA team at his there at the house. And so he was saying, let's take this picture, and some of the coaches are there too. So of course that's really, and I was just like, well, you look at Barack stepping up, and he just had a birthday on August 4th.
Well, see, he ain't just stepping up, Val. So let me ask you a boomerang question. Do you know the significance of Barack Obama in basketball?
He used to play?
Nope. Well, I mean, yes, but that's not the significance.
Well, okay, you tell us.
So Barack Obama, once he left the White House, Barack Obama is the president of the African Basketball League for the NBA. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So internationally, all the kids that are playing in the African basketball, what they call the ABL, the African Basketball League, that's over Barack Obama, which is what we call basketball beyond boundaries, right? So the NBA has reached with not boundaries, but borders, basketball beyond our borders. So they reached out, and Africa is one of the continents that we've got basketball being reached to. And President Obama, for say Chicago, Southside, Hyde Park, he's running that scenario. So it's great that he had these guys in. And as Fazio said, you're exactly right. My personal opinion, I love Jordan. Steph Curry's already Hall of Fame ready.
Very much so. And like I said, congratulations to the men's basketball team. They had they did it on Saturday night, but then on Sunday, who came right behind them were the girls.
Who showed them up? Hey, let me ask you a question. Before we were jumping into this, why did the women show the men up?
Because of how they won?
Nope, man. 2 reasons. I'm gonna get you. Hey, as they say in the hood, break it down. Let it be broke. So, 2 reasons why they did it. One, for those that are listening to me tonight, I don't know. I'm gonna put a trick question. Springer, put into the trivia line tonight. Does anyone know the overall attendance for the men and women basketball for this year's Olympics?
Who was in the? Okay, all right.
That's one reason. Second reason is the women. In my opinion, I just told a guy today. I just told Coach Justin today. The #1 team in the history of the Olympics is the Dream Team. And the second is the women basketball. Why? Because they are 60-0 since 1992. 60-0. They haven't lost in 60 games, Val. 60 since 2012. I'm sorry. They haven't lost in 60 games. Now, having said that, they come off again this year. For those that don't know and maybe looking at the numbers, there was a number, and I'll give you guys a few minutes to answer that question I just asked you. And that's going to be the second piece, while the women end up being a bum. But of course, they were led by my girl right there, Asia Wilson. She did her thing. She did her thing. Coach Don Staley was there this week. She was up in the crowd. I love that, supporting her girls. And of course, Dana Taurasi, become the most all-time decorated Olympian for the basketball for the women, which is automatic. And Kevin Durant came that for the men.
Yeah. So that is phenomenal. I saw a couple of pictures of Brittany Griner when they were playing when they were playing the national anthem. I saw her almost break down because I think Paris might have been her first foreign travel since she was brought back from Russia. So this was probably very emotional. And definitely one of her teammates just was like patting her on the back. But yeah, it was really good to see them all, and they did a great job. I got a chance to catch 2 of the women's games because there were so many things happening, Coach. If you blinked, you'd miss something. You'd be like, "Oh, it's over." So they won gold. They won gold.
History was made this Olympic because it became the first time in the Olympic history that the men and women played the exact same team for the gold medal. Did you know that?
Did not know that either. Wow.
So I'm dropping some nuggets, as Wise say. We got dropping Wise nuggets tonight. You know what I'm saying? So the men played France and the women played France. And obviously, I love that point guard from France, Lil Williams. Man, she was a killer. But to throw out there the significance of what you just said a moment ago was spot on. You got these young women that have been doing things, and it is now the time and era of the women. So let me give you the answer that I asked you earlier. What makes this so significant was the average crowd for the men's basketball for the Olympics was 29,800. The average crowd for the women was 31,500. So the women brought in almost 2,000 more people than the men. But for an Olympic 2-week tournament for basketball, more than 1.1 million people showed up, which is the largest crowd in Olympic history to watch a 12-day event for basketball, which is unheard of and ridiculous.
Wow. I have to say, with that, as we wrap up with that, the men's and the women's basketball team represented very, very well and continued their winning streak. Now, I knew something was up, Coach, when we saw Tom Cruise in the stands early.
Right. I knew something
earlier
was up too.
in the week. You knew something was up when you saw him,
because I was making a new movie or something.
I was thinking, why is he over there? Why is he doing what he's doing?
He was kind of like a la Snoop too, Val. He wasn't just at one. I seen him at volleyball. I seen him at swimming. Yeah, and they kept cutting to him too. I'm like, why they cutting the Tom when Snoop is the man?
I know. So I'm just kind of was like, is it something going on? Why is he around? And then of course the closing ceremonies. I love this young lady. Her name is Her. She did the beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. And what we found out is that Paris, the French mayor of Paris, handed off the flag to
the mayor of LA,
mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass. And we were just really excited to see that happen. And of course, she sang the Star Spangled Banner. And then, of course, out of nowhere, but not really out of nowhere, we see Tom Cruise doing a stunt coming from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Mission Impossible, baby. Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. And then he takes the flag and greets Simone Biles and the mayor of Los Angeles. And he puts it on a motorcycle and he is out of there. And I was like, I knew there was a reason.
But you know what the cool part about that was for me, Val? It wasn't so much that Cruise came down and did it. What I loved about it was the cutaway. You know, he broke out with the flag. He broke down with the motorcycle, jumped on and did a Mission Impossible type stunt. And they know he's on US Route 1 in LA and about to come up on the Hollywood sign. And then he get on the Hollywood sign and take the double O in Hollywood and drop the freaking Olympic logo. That was dope. That was dope. I got to get to it. That was dope.
I was totally blown away by it because I knew if he's in the audience, he has something. There's something big that's going to be happening around him, and I figured that. Real quickly, and unfortunately, we have got to chit chat about the women's gymnastic team. We mentioned them on last week, celebrating some additional wins that they had, and one of the additional wins that they had was the floor exercise. That was also sad was Simone Biles, and this young lady right here, her name is Jordan Chiles. And I don't exactly know what happened. This is them winning gold as a team, which is wonderful. But when they competed, we had mentioned this young lady here, Rebecca Adandre, from wait, I'm so sorry. Anna Barso. Yeah, Barso. She was in third place from is that Italy? I'm trying to see if that was Italy. Well, anyway, she was in third place, and then she got moved to. They moved because it was a technical.
Well, the technicality, that was a technical flaw. That what happened, Val, was a technical flaw on a routine that was situated, and she was originally placed up as the original winner until the technical flaw, and then they deducted the points away, and then moved in Jordan Chiles. And they gave Jordan Chiles the medal. Now, at the time they gave the medal to Jordan Chiles, then that became the first ever, which I didn't know that either, the first ever picture where you had all Black gymnasts, Simone, Chiles, and another young girl from Puerto Rico, I think it was. That
actually
took
Brazil. She's from Brazil.
Brazil, rather. I know it was somewhere down there.
But her name is Rebecca Andrade.
And she knows them because she competes against those girls all the time. But they were 1, 2, 3 for the first time taking the picture. Well, supposedly that when Italy ended up complaining about it because they thought, what's going on? What's this? What's that? Then they end up making a rebuttal to the judges, and supposedly that the coach from the United States had exactly 1 minute to reply to the rebuttal. And supposedly, according to the Olympic rules and what they saw and what they got, that they said that the rebuttal came in at 1 minute and 4 seconds, which means that in all of competition, you have 1 minute to refute a complaint. And they came in 4 seconds after the fact, Val. So then, therefore, they moved it back up. But today, this morning, the news came out, according to CBS News, is that the coach has proof of everything that they replied, and it was sent in, and it was received in 47 seconds, Val. But the judges didn't do their job and didn't look at it for another 20 seconds, which put them 4 seconds or 5 seconds after the fact. So I think that this is going to go on for a minute. Now, if I'm Jordan Chiles, you know what I'm saying right now, Val?
What you saying right now?
I'm saying I don't know where the medal at. It got lost on the way back home. I put it in my suitcase. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened to the flight. That particular bag I had, they lost that bag. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where it's at.
And it was my man and them that took it. My man's and them.
No. I can go down to my man's and them and get you one made.
Oh my gosh. But like I said, I don't know. Like recently the Today Show spoke with Allie Reisman. She competed in 2012, and something very similar happened to her regarding the judges and that scoring. Jordan Chiles, as you see here, she took herself off social media, and she says for her own mental health, she had to, because she did that was going to be a little bit of a too much of a hot spot.
Plus the climate in the United States right now ain't good.
No, it's not. So I think it was best for her to take herself off of social media. I appreciate her doing that. And of course, Simone Biles, who was also the captain of the team, she said, you know what? You are a champion, and I love you. And that was one of her comments to Jordan Chiles. But like I said, it was something really, really, really interesting. Before we get out of here, we have to mention the Olympic sport that happened, which was breaking. Oh my goodness. I
Man,
don't
come
know
on.
if anybody got a chance to check it out with the breaking situation, but there was the men against the women. There was a men's compete, and then it was the women's competing at one point. And did you get a chance to see any of the dancers or any of the folks that were breaking?
I saw that terrible ass dancer from Australia that jumped up in and made the bad light. They made Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel mad as all outdoors. That's not what we did when we was in New York.
Oh my gosh. So I think unfortunately breaking as an Olympic sport will not be returning to the 2028
Well,
thing. And then of
not
course,
because
yeah.
it's bad now, so they rotate them. I found out, I did a little homework. They rotate
Mhm.
3 sports. They rotate breaking, baseball, and I want to say flag football. I'm not sure. I think it is flag football. So they rotate them. So it's not to say that breaking won't be back, but it won't be back in LA. And to me,
Okay.
they should have held it out this damn year and brought it to LA, where breakdance was originated here in the United States out of New York, and they could have got some good things. But of course, that bad dancer from Australia killed the whole platform, which is, if you ever seen that video, I'm telling y'all right now,
Yeah,
if you haven't seen the girl from Australia, then it just came out, Val. Do you know how she got on stage?
Oh, but wait, let me get to her before you get to her, because you're running right to her to really quickly. Let me let you know on the men's side of breaking, who won was Mr. Kim from
Oh
Canada,
yeah,
D. Civil from France, and V. Matavalo won for the United States. And on the women's side, who won gold was Ye Yusa from Japan, D. Bibik from Lithuania, and QG Liu won from China. So there was no women that won and medaled for that. But of course, now let's get to the Australian professor.
right. So the story has it,
Rachel Gunn. That's her real full name, Rachel Gunn.
right. So do you know the backstory on this young lady?
I do not know her backstory of Rachel Gunn. What can you tell me about Rachel?
So the backstory on this young lady is that her husband was part of the
Mhm.
Olympic Committee.
Mhm. I
So
didn't know that. Okay.
the taxpayers that paid their money to help out, probably a dancer that should have been there probably didn't. And the news break line is that basically, with the husband being on part of the Olympic Committee, that this started almost as a joke or started off almost as a challenge in the house. You know, like, Val, I double dog dare you to stick your tongue on that cold pole. Right? You know the movie I'm talking about, right? So
Yeah.
it came that. And so when somebody dare you is one thing, but when they double dog dare you, you like, hold on, hold up. You're going to double dog dare me? I'm going to do that. And I think that, you know, the young lady did it. And to me, it kind of killed what the breakdance is all about, which is probably why they're not going to have it in 28. But the young lady is already over 2.9 million people in views on the internet. So at the end of the day, YouTube has reached out to her and paid her some money. So that's crazy.
So what's happening? There's a fallout from her headline making performance, according to Daily Mail .co.uk. She poorly received a display, and she went viral for all the wrong reasons.
Correct.
And she elected to stay in Europe instead of going back to Australia. And what's happening now? There's a petition. It got started on August 12th, which was yesterday, on change.org, and that has attracted more than 15,000 signatures of yesterday, and said that they accuses the 36-year-old for, quote, manipulating the selection process to her own advantage so she could be chosen,
which is what I just told you.
Of more talented Aussie female breakers, an
Correct.
allegation described as raising serious questions and fairness of the integrity of the progress. We demand a public apology from Rachel Gunn and Anna Mears for misleading the Australian public and attempting to gaslight the public and undermining the efforts of genuine athletes, the statement reads.
So
That sounds very
do you know who
serious.
I think should be in trouble, Val?
Who should be in trouble?
Her husband. Because he opened the door without him
He
being on
did.
a committee. If this man was not on the Olympic Committee somehow, some way, that's just like, that's just like you coming over to my neighborhood and I got to ask Pookie them, can you play ball over here? You know what I'm saying? I know you can't play ball, Val. Like, shit, that's my girl, though. Let her over here, right? And they open the door like, oh, Val, come on. She cool. Come on over through it. And you terrible. And I know it. It just makes me mad. But one thing that don't make me mad, Val,
What's that?
is that I got to give it up in this month of Black entrepreneurship to my main man, the one and only Magic Johnson. They're doing a thing. If you guys have not had an opportunity to see it, Springer put it into the tagline. Front Office Sports is the website, FOS, Front Office Sport. And then Google Magic Johnson, 30 years, 1994 to 2024. Magic Johnson, after he retired, for those that don't know, it wasn't around at that particular time, he had HIV and didn't know how to live with it at that particular time. Obviously, money helps, right, Val? And of course, he's still with us right now. But Magic Johnson at that time made a $50 million investment in himself. And that investment turned out to be Magic Johnson Enterprises for movie theaters. And he's now the first African-American athlete of anybody to have ownership in 4 major sports teams. And his wealth has gone from over 50 mil in 94 to $1.4 billion in 2024. So my hats go off to my main man, Magic Showtime Johnson, baby.
Yeah. And like I said, I have to tell you, Magic has always been, I want to call it business minded, and it's cracking me up that he has made more money and has generated more jobs in his business life than he did with
on
the court. And so lots of love and appreciation. Of course, Mr. Springer, thank you so very much for putting that up there, frontofficesports.com. And of course, him adding another team to his roster is phenomenal in business. And like I said, if you can ever get a chance to take a master class about entrepreneurship and business, this is the best gentleman to get it from. And so Queen Lakeisha says, great conversation, and appreciate that. And of course, Bella says, love it, Queen Val. I love it. I love it too. But my goodness, man. Oh man, this has been a show. This has been a show. Impactful.
I thought you was on a Pull Up podcast show, girl, man.
I had to get ready for it. And of course, our Talk on Tuesday is brought to you by A DJ Saved My Life. It is how music gave me a purpose and a voice. And of course, on yesterday, I don't know if you guys know about it, but yesterday was National Vinyl Day. I think that's what it was, National Vinyl Day.
That's why DJ Saved My Life.
This is some of my vinyl right here. This is Jody Watley. She's one of my favorites. And of course, my other favorite
vinyl, DMC.
Of course.
I'm the king of rock.
And then this is a little Heavy D and the Boys.
There you go.
And of course, the vinyl that I purchased not once but twice, the Thriller album from 1983.
Oh, hold on. I got, don't go nowhere. I got to get some. I'm going to show you what I just bought. Hold on one second.
Oh my gosh. He gets very excited when it comes to music. We're going to go ahead and take him off stage. But of course, Michael Jackson, that's right. You see how beautiful this wax looks? It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Hi, Michael. Hi, Michael. Okay, here comes Tony. He's back.
I got the greatest of Funkadelic. Did you feel me? Look at that.
Is that a bear?
Yeah, that's a goat. That's a goat. Oh, hey man, don't get me started. Flashlight, We all like red lights, stop. Hey, now I lay me down to sleep. Man, I get them going, pal.
Now you know now why DJ saves our life, right? That's what happens. Oh my goodness. And of course, go ahead and join us over on patreon.com/interludes. Join our community on Patreon today. And of course, you can join our Facebook group as well. And of course, coming up next week, we got the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Fan Appreciation Show.
Let me tell you
my
something.
goodness. What you got?
Let me tell you something. Queen Lakeisha, Bella, I'm going to need y'all up in there. I need a couple more women. But next week, Springer, let them know. We're going to have some fun. Next week, Mark going to come on talking crazy. My brother Eric Hampson going to be on there. A couple of my coaches going to be on there. A couple of relatives. So I'm looking fun. But the funny part about it, Val, they have no idea what I'm going to ask them.
You didn't tell them what you're gonna ask them. You didn't tell my man and them what you're gonna ask them.
I'm not telling my man them because that's what's gonna make the show so nice. Because I want to hear it off the top of their head. I'm gonna give them the topics. They're gonna have to be pretty versed. But I'm not giving them the question. I want to know what's in their mind. I want to hear it like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to see it like that.
So the Fan Appreciation Show, it'll be literally Coach Tony is coming off hiatus. So he can go ahead and host this show. And of course, I'll be doing my producing. But if there's only 2 women, I might have to be on screen. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I gotta get you up on there. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if you have not watched ESPN and First Take, I would advise you to watch that real quick because the show is gonna kind of have a similar flair to that. But we're gonna be on a Pull Up Podcast show.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, guys. If you haven't done so, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button and please share. And of course, if you haven't done so, a lot of people love our show, but sometimes they don't subscribe. Please subscribe to the Interludes YouTube channel. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook, like the Pure Lighthouse business page as it's streaming there, as well as our Facebook group. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to pack up these hits and roll on out. Woo, let's go, Jody.
Roll out. Hey, what Ludacris say? Roll out. Don't roll out.
On behalf of myself and Coach Tony, we'll see you next week. Peace.